Hey everybody, welcome back to Grunt Reviews. Today we are back in the studio and I've got a firearm that I have been wanting to get my hands on since these things came out. Guys, today we'll be doing our tabletop and unboxing on the PTR 9CT pistol. As always, go down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm. I've got my Buy Me a Coffee link in the description as always, and also check us out over on rumble.com. That's where we get to put the fun stuff that YouTube doesn't allow. And let's get into it. First things first, obviously it does come in actually a very nice, very solid hard case. Is set up with that little air bleed off valve. Looks very similar to a Pelican, is O-ringed like a Pelican. Let me pop this sucker open here. Very nice case. Something I did want to point out. And considering that the PTR is the clone version, does come in a nicer case than some of the SP5s to my understanding. But what do we get inside of here? Of course, we get our instruction manual. Get that out of the way. We do get our firearm lock. We get our tool, Phillips head screwdriver, and I believe this is the front sight adjustment tool as well too. We get a very cool, I say cool, it's cool that it's free, but we get a single point sling, it appears. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not off. Yep, so we do get a bungee style single point sling. Is disconnected, does have that HK style hook on there as well too. Not a huge deal, but is a nice little addition. We get I believe this is the inspection sheet, which indeed it is. We get our little inspection sheet there. We get two polymer mags. These are by ETS, so you do not get the steel or aluminum mags with this. You do get the polymer version. Some of the pictures online do show the steel. But everywhere I've seen, they mention it does come with these. If anybody's gotten one with steel mags, definitely let me know. I'd be curious if anyone had a different experience. And last and most definitely not least, we have the firearm itself. Yep, and nothing in the bottom there, and nothing in the top. So we will get the case out of the way here. So starting at the front, this is the 9CT. So it does have 1/2 by 28 threads on the muzzle there. And it does come with a O-ringed thread protector, or I should say an O-ring on the barrel and a thread protector as well too. Is set up for tri-lug as well. I believe the 9C just has the tri-lug mount. The front of this, of course, we're going to get our standard hooded front sight post, or it has that guard on it. As we work our way back, the big difference between this and the SP5 or the MP5, this already does come with a M-LOK compatible handguard to it. So this is all aluminum. You get 9 slots at the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions there. Does have the PTR logo, looks like laser engraved into it. Looking at it up close, engraving could be a little nicer. Kind of wish that the logo was maybe a little bit smaller and not quite as obvious. That's not a huge deal, but would have been nice. It looks a little bit out of place on the firearm. But you do get the ability to add the aftermarket accessories of your choice, lights, lasers. If you are paying a tax stamp, obviously at that point you could put a foregrip on it. As we work our way back, of course this is a steel receiver. These are touted as being made on HK tooling. So this would be basically as close to a direct clone as you can get, and these are made here in the United States. Always nice to support a company here in the US. You do get both mag releases with this. So it does have the push button style mag release. We will grab one of these mags here. You get the push button mag release that is functional, and you do get the paddle mag release that is also functional. So depending on your preferred method of changing mags, or if you just want the correct look with the paddle, you do get the functionality of both of them. The fire control group, lower receiver if you will, grip assembly, whatever you'd like to call it, is a polymer design, and supposedly this is a 100% directly compatible with MP5 versions of it, so you can switch, move, adjust. There's no changing or modifying anything like that. Once again, this thing is a direct copy, so that is how it should be. Obviously single position, safe, and fire, and they are highlighted in two different colors there. This is also repeated on the other side. So this does come with a single side only safety selector. It is only set up essentially for right-handed shooters, or use with that right thumb. I suppose left-handed shooters could do it. You just have to use your left thumb there, but does not come with an ambi safety. The rear tail cap on these, polymer style tail cap, of course the standard single pin takedown setup, and it does have that sling mount on the rear. Of course, there are a variety of braces and things like that that can be added to it. Something that I will mention, looking around online, I've seen the S&B paddles braces seem to fit this pretty well. Some of the PDW style braces, there are some notes online that it needs to be, there may be some possible modifications. I have not tried one, but it is something to consider if you're looking at going that route. As we work our way up, of course, the bolt group is exactly like you would expect out of an MP5. It is a roller delayed blowback. The top rail is where it's going to differ a little bit from the original HK product. So they do have a Picatinny rail that is welded to the top receiver for mounting the optic of your choice. I actually really like this little addition to it. Obviously, if you're going to run a red dot or something similar, you're already set up. You don't have to buy a clamp-on mount or anything like that. And it's one of those things that it's not a huge deal, but it is a nice little thought, and the fact that it is included from the factory is nice. Some people may not want that to preserve the absolute original look of the firearm, but I really like that because that helps modernize the platform, as the MP5 is somewhere in the vicinity of 40 to 50 years old as a platform. The rear sight is that HK drum style sight, so you have 4 different apertures that can be used in smaller and larger sizes, and you're able to change that with just a simple twist there. Control side, everybody knows anybody who's watched any movie ever knows the HK slap. So this is a non-reciprocating charging handle, and in the manual they do recommend that when you charge the firearm, to give it a good, that's on me, to give it a good slap. Hard to do upside down. Try it one more time here. Boom, there we go. Something so satisfying about that. But it is a non-reciprocating charging handle, as I said, and something else to be mentioned if you're not familiar with these do not hold open on the last round. So it will run dry, you'll have a click, and then you will have to go through your reload procedures. Thoughts before we get into the weight and the trigger. The only thing I will say that would be nice if they could have improved it just a little bit, The grip, very, very smooth. I mean, there's just a hair of texture to it, but would be nice, since they are modernizing these with a couple of add-on features, if they had done maybe something checkered or something with just a little bit more grab to it, something that generates a bit more friction against your hand. It's not terrible, but I could see where if you had sweat or maybe oil or grease or something, this would become just a little bit slick. Safety, obviously this is a single side only safety. Would have been nice if they had done an ambi safety. Once again, if you're going to modernize it, would be cool to put some of the more modern features on there. But not a huge deal, and the safety does have a very positive engagement, very audible on and off. And something to mention too is this safety can be activated whether the hammer is cocked or not. As for weight, we're gonna pull the old scale out here, and we're gonna clear this thing out. All right. And as it sits, we are 5 pounds, 1.37 ounces, and I'm reading that upside down there. With one empty magazine, brings us to, looks like, we'll call it 5 pounds, 5 ounces unloaded. And last but not least, we will talk about the trigger. So to me, it's a 2-stage trigger, and it almost feels more like a rolling break. If you have fired a factory Glock pistol, that is kind of the same feeling. So we have the first stage, we start to hit that second stage there, so you can see that initial travel at second stage, and then it just kind of rolls through. We have that break. We have a long but audible reset, and then back to that rolling type break there. So a little bit, I like a little bit firmer wall. The rolling break thing is not my personal preference, but definitely feels to be usable. There's not an excessive amount of grit or anything like that. And as always, this is out of the box. We haven't touched or lubricated anything. I've got my handy dandy Lyman digital trigger gauge here, and we're gonna see what this thing weighs out at. So first stage, we're at about 3 pounds, 6.3 ounces, just to highlight that there for you. There we go. That one broke 5 pounds, 9.7 ounces. Second pull, 5 pounds, 12.7 ounces, and we'll try one more here. And 5 pounds, 11 ounces for the third. So we're somewhere around, numbers are hard, but I'm gonna say 5 pounds and 9 ounces as an average off the top of my head. So under 6 pounds, above 5, in that 5 to 6 range. Very usable. Would be nice, like I said, if it had a little bit more of a firm wall to it. But all in all, feels very nice. Will mention that this trigger actually feels a little bit nicer than some of the SP5s that I had handled. Obviously, that will be a subjective judgment there, but I do think PTR may have improved the trigger just slightly. All in all, seems like a very, very cool package. These are retailing on the absolute low end around the $1,500 mark, and there's several different models and options in that range. That's if you get the smoking deal. Usually I'm seeing them between $1,700 and $1,900. And with that being said, the HK SP5s at the time of this video are, when you can find one, are in the range of $3,200 to $3,500-ish. So for basically half the price of an HK, is it a solid clone, or do you get half the gun? Initial fit finish feel on this feels very, very solid, feels very quality. PTR does say that this is made on HK tooling, so that level of quality obviously should transfer here to the United States. Obviously we will see in the range review, but initial thoughts, initial impressions, really like it. Impressive package. The Pelican style case that it comes in, while not a huge deal, is a nice touch, and it's nice to see that manufacturers are still including some nice accessories with their firearms and offering them for a decent price. So we will have to see if this thing does stack up to the real deal HK. I'm definitely looking forward to the range review. So hope this gives you a good overview of this. Guys, as always, I do appreciate your time watching this. Stay safe, train hard.